morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of October, 2024. One of the most important questions surrounding the independence debate is whether the United Kingdom is truly a voluntary union. While many argue that Scotland is free to leave the UK if it chooses, recent legal rulings suggest otherwise. The UK Supreme Court has made it clear that Scotland cannot hold a second referendum without the consent of Westminster. The consent of Westminster? Consent from another country on the self-determination of another country. What does that actually mean for Scotland? It means that a country's ability to decide its own future is dependent on another government's approval. If Scotland must ask permission to hold a vote on its independence, can this union really be considered voluntary? Scotland's right to self-determination, the idea that the people of Scotland should be able to decide their own future, is being constrained. And it's not just about legal technicalities. In the 2014 referendum, Scots were told that staying in the UK would guarantee their continued membership of the European Union. But just 2 years later, Brexit happened. Many argue that this represents a material change in circumstances, that the conditions under which Scotland voted to remain in the Union no longer exist. Independence would allow Scotland to rectify this, potentially rejoining the EU and restoring all the benefits of membership. The principle of self-determination is enshrined in international law, but Scotland's situation raises an important question about whether this law is being fully applied. Scotland is not a colony or an oppressed nation, allegedly. But its right to decide its own future is being limited by the UK government. For many, this calls into question the very nature of the UK as a partnership of equals. Ultimately, Scotland generates vast wealth but lacks the control over how that wealth is managed. Westminster controls key economic and political decisions that shape Scotland's future. Independence offers a path to self-determination where Scotland can make decisions based on its own interests, rather than being bound by the priorities of a larger political entity. So, are we a voluntary union? Those in the independence movement came to the conclusion that we are most certainly not a long time ago. We see through the veil of obfuscation of the Scotland bad narrative that the British state propaganda machine and their oligarch-run media creates. We know that the benefits outweigh the negatives. Yes, there are many elements of independence that are unknown, but when you think about it, they can't be any worse than the elements we do know about how good the union is. Looking at the past couple of videos I've done, I guess we have to look and answer another question. And that question is, why are there Scots that have still not come to voting yes? People that still don't believe in independence, unionist Scots. What makes them tick? And this is a question that we shall discuss tomorrow. Until then, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an incredible day.
I can't get no sleep.